Hello and welcome to Yoga Basics. I'm Patty, I'll be your instructor. Let's start by finding a comfortable seated posture, either in a chair, and if you are going to sit in a chair, make it a firm chair, not a soft one that you're going to sit back in, but a nice firm chair that you can slide forward on and perch up at the forward edge of the chair. Or you can come to the floor. If you're going to the floor, I suggest that you get some blankets to sit on, good stiff blankets that aren't going to slide or squish underneath you. Once you've found either blankets to sit on or a chair, go ahead and cross your legs in front of you. And once you've crossed your legs in the comfortable way, uncross your legs. And go to what might feel like the slightly awkward way. And eventually, if you practice going with both sides, eventually you're not going to have an awkward way. You'll feel comfortable whichever leg is in the forward position. Once you've found your comfortable seated posture, go ahead and find your breath. And as you find your breath, let's press down with your hips, lengthening through the low back, and reach up through the crown of your head so that you can find more length through your spine. As you find this length through your spine, transition the point of origin of your breath from outside of your nose or wherever it was to down in your belly. And even though we don't really breathe with the belly, it feels like we are. So as you inhale, seemingly fill your belly, allowing the breath to rise up the three major curves of your back, and then maintain any lift you got as you allow your breath to slide back down, literally drawing the belly back to your spine. So again, seemingly fill the belly on your inhale, letting the breath lift, maintain the lift as you allow the breath to slide back down, drawing the belly back to your spine. And once more, inhale at the low belly, the mid and side chest, and the upper chest and back, and then allow your breath to slide back down, drawing your belly back towards your back. And then release technique and just sit for a moment and feel your breath, trying to keep it down in your anatomical center of gravity, down between your hips, your sacred center. Now I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart in the prayer position. Your thumbs line up right along your sternum, anywhere you want on this bony chest protection. Pressing the thumbs, the palms, and the fingers gently together, allow your shoulders to pull apart. And as you feel your heart lift and open, take a moment and set an intention for yourself. Claim for yourself what it is that you want. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Take just another moment with this intention. And so it is. Blink your eyes open if they were closed. Inhale big. And then a big sigh out. Hands come down, blink your eyes open. And let's go to Jessie, who is my guest student today. We're going to twist today, and we're going to end up in a fish posture today. So I'd like you to keep your blankets handy, and we're going to twist from a position called Sukasana. This is a comfortable, cross-legged seated posture. Some of you can sit on 2 blankets, but some of you might have really tight hips. So simulate tighter hips for me, Jessie, and lift your knees up. So while you're sitting on the floor, if your knees are high up like that, just grab yourself another blanket and sit up on it. So lift up, another blanket, sit down. You want to lift your hips high enough that your thigh bones get parallel to the floor. Now this is a little bit higher, or is this more comfortable? Yes, you're good here? Okay, so he says he's good here. We've lifted him up so high that while we twist, he's going to have to put his hands on something. So I'm going to put another blanket back here, and this is going to be for his hands. So if you're at home practicing and you need to go grab some more blankets, grab them, because we want to keep the pelvic girdle parallel to the floor. We want to keep the shoulder girdle parallel to the floor. So I saw Jesse change the crossing of his legs to start, so he's good. He's got the left leg forward, right? So with the left leg forward, so that brings the right leg in first, the left leg forward. You cross at the shins. Then you try to wiggle your feet until they go underneath your knees. You're looking to make the shape of an equilateral triangle so that you look down and to try to see the mat or the floor between your legs. And you want your crossed shins and your thighs all about the same length. Some of you are going to be in a wider position, and this is okay for now, but continue to try to work your feet underneath your knees. So from here, Jesse's going to bring his left hand behind him and put it on that blanket. So you want to make sure you don't have one shoulder up and one shoulder down. So to do this without a mirror, allow your sternum to rise towards your throat and allow your scapulas, your shoulder blades, to slide towards your back waist. So we've already begun the twist. He's got something for his hand behind him. I'm pretty sure he needs it because we lifted the hips up so high that if we didn't have that blanket, lift, he'd end up dropping too much in that shoulder. So definitely need that blanket for the hand. Or you can put it on a block or a book if you have a big book or a dictionary. So you're going to begin by keeping your head at midline. Midline is right here above the sternum. Pulling that left shoulder back, then you're going to take this right arm, cross it over the body, and flip it upside down. That way, you're pressing with the back of your wrist, and this is going to keep you from trying to draw that knee up, and that's too much leverage. So we're just using just enough leverage to enhance this twist. The inhale lifts up through the spine, rising, trying to find more extension in the spine on the inhale. And then on the exhale, pull the belly back to the spine and pull your left shoulder back behind you. So the left shoulder's pulling behind you. The back of this forward right wrist is pressing into the top of the thigh to bring those right ribs around. And just pause for a minute here or a moment here in this first part of the twist and feel how the muscles stretch in kind of a wraparound way. The muscles around the torso are like a basket. They go in so many different directions. They're like the weaving of a basket, that it's challenging to find a stretch along these muscles. So we do it through the twist. So we're opening up the muscles around the belly and around the chest, and at the same time we're putting the spine through its range of motion, extending up the spine on the inhale and then rotating the spine around to the left on the exhale. Now let's bring in the neck part. So inhale, lift up the spine on the inhale, and on your exhale, look over your left shoulder. This is the last part of the posture. We start by bringing the mid-torso in, and then we come up into the neck. There's some structural reasons for this. A bone in the throat called the hyoid is one of them, but we'll get into that in another episode. Or you can look up the hyoid, H-Y-O-I-D. So in this twist, your breath gets a little tight because you're twisting through the rib cage. So you can loosen it a little for the inhale, lifting up through the spine as you inhale, and then maybe twist a little bit deeper on the exhale. Take one more breath here, lift on the inhale, loosen the twist if you need to, exhale deeply into the twist, and then release your posture and slowly let your torso come back forward. And when your torso is back forward, just pause and feel one side of the body versus the other. Now we're going to do the other side. So change the crossing of your legs, and let's bring that right leg forward. Trying to cross at the shins. Now make a note how this particular position of Sukasana feels compared to the last position of Sukasana. Then you're going to bring your right hand behind you. And since we've lifted Jesse up on so many blankets, we're still keeping the blanket back there for his hand. Remember with this hand behind you that you either want to go fingertips or a flat hand or a fisted hand. Try not to hyperextend those joints through the fingers. It's not good for them. Now he's got a bit of an elbow here. I think you're sliding forward off of your support. So scooch back up on him and bring your hand back down. Yes, go flat with that hand. Now, the inhale is going to lift the spine. You're going to bring this left arm across your body, putting the left arm upside down on top of the thigh. This is some leverage, but not too much leverage, just a little. So the inhale lifts up through the spine, extension, and the exhale twists to the right, but not your head. Keep your head soft, so wherever midline is of your chest, That's where you want to keep your face, right above the sternum. And in the beginning part of this twist, the right shoulder's pulling back, and the back of the left wrist is bringing the left ribs around the front. So you're just going to feel the torso starting to open up into this posture. You should be able to breathe pretty easily in the beginning. And then as your body gives you room, you want to take up that room and twist a little deeper, the squeezing out of this tissue. So the inhale lifts up. The exhale twists just the shoulders and the chest around to the right. Maybe you adjust that hand behind you, getting a little deeper into the twist. Please keep it friendly. And now we've been here long enough that it's time to bring the cervical spine in. So inhale, extend up through the spine. Exhale, rotate around to the right, looking over your right shoulder, coming into the fullest expression of this twist for you. Take about 3 breaths here. You might have to loosen the twist just a little bit for the inhale, that's fine. And then deepen the twist just a little bit more on the exhale. Another nice breath here. You might feel heat on your chest or on your arms. This is tapas. This is an internal energy that's rising up to help clean up the inside of the body. Take another full breath. Going as deep into the twist as you comfortably or slightly uncomfortably can. And then release the posture and bring your torso back forward. And pause and feel how that feels in your body. Excellent. Let's do one more twist. So let's come off one of these blankets and just keep a couple. Now, bring your legs straight for me. Hamstrings, tight hamstrings are a challenge with most of us. So what you can do for tight hamstrings is just to put something underneath the knees so that you have something to press into. Also, sitting up on blankets helps for tight hamstrings. Now, what is your preference? Do you want to sit up or do you want to have the blankets down? Are you good this way? Okay, so let's stay here, and from this straight-legged position, let's draw the left leg in, so the sole of the foot is aiming to the inner thigh on the right leg, and just put that under the left knee. Yes. So because Jesse's got tight hips, we've supported this left knee like that. And now he's going to bring his right arm behind his back onto the floor. And then this left hand is going to grab hold of the straight leg. And you can grab on this one. Toes are straight up. We're just going to twist gently through here. So inhale, lift. And exhale, twist around to the right and look over your right shoulder. While twisting in this position, you're going to internally press your left knee either into the blanket or down to the floor, whatever your body allows. As that left knee is pressing down, you're going to use that leverage to lift up and around to the right. Just a little Janu Sirsasana twist. Take another inhale here, and then exhale and release and bring yourself back forward. Nice. Pick that knee up, bring your legs out, rock. And then if you're using the blanket for the knee, switch the blanket to the other side. And draw that right leg back, or right leg in, so the sole of the foot is in towards the thigh. Now, if you feel that you want to support the underneath of this knee, that's fine as well. So this time it's the left hand that goes behind you. Your right hand's going to grab hold of that straight leg. There's more that we can do with this position, Janu Sirsasana, but we're just twisting it today. But in future episodes, we're going to continue to refine this position because there's a lot going on. So anything touching the mat, press down into the mat. Inhale, lift up the spine. Exhale, around to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Internally press the bent right knee into the blanket or into the floor. As you feel that right knee internally press away from you, lift up to inhale, up and then around to the left to exhale. And you can use the cervical spine. You can look over your shoulder in this twist right off the bat. We've dropped it out of the upper chest and we've brought it down more into the mid-torso and the low belly. So remember that anything touching the mat pushes into the mat or into the blanket to lift you up on the inhale and around to your left on the exhale. Take another in-breath. And as you exhale, bring your torso back forward and pause. And just feel. Leg can come out and rock. So now we're going to build a pose called fish. So Jesse's going to come to his back with his knees bent. Bring your head this way. And for most of us in fish, so your back, knees bent, allow the floor to accept your body. For most of us in fish, we need something to support the head at first. There's a lot of this position that we're going to get into with the neck, and it's challenging. So I'm going to keep some blankets handy, and I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put some blankets handy, just in case they're needed. Put them up around your head. So fish is where we lift and open at the sternum, this bony chest protection. Behind the sternum is the thymus. This is a gland that takes bone marrow, brings it and matures it into killer cells that go then out through the body, destroying abnormal cells. So this is the nursery, and we want to open it for a free flow of fluid and energy. So from your back, press into your feet and lift your hips. While your hips are in the air, place your hands underneath your hips. Now you're going to sit on the back of your hands. Once you've sat on the back of your hands, press all the way up and let your legs go straight. Lift all the way up to your elbows. So legs go straight down the mat and you lift up to your elbows. And tuck your elbows behind you. So stay here. Stay here just for a moment. So you're sitting on the back of your hands. Your elbows are tucked behind you. Lift and open here. Now, depending on your flexibility in your neck is how high the blankets are going to be. As you lift and open at the chest, let your head hang back. And then you're going to gently scooch until the top or the crown of your head rests either on the blankets or on the floor. Let your toes get a little active, pressing your toes away from each other. As your toes press down, more toes straight away. So draw them in, yes, so that the big toes are coming in the direction of each other, pressing away. You're lifting and opening right here at the sternum, opening at that thymus gland for that free flow of fluid and energy, and you're breathing deeply. If you do have some lung congestion, you might end up coughing in this posture. So just bring yourself out of the posture and take a really good cough. This is excellent. It's one of the cleansing systems of the body. You need a good cough? And then bring your head back. Do you think you can go to the floor? Let's try. So eventually, this is where you're going with the posture. But don't challenge the neck. If the neck isn't ready for it, lift your head back up. Just go down to some blankets. Now, if you'd like to make this pose just a little bit more challenging, slowly lift your legs up while lifting the chest. Yes. Fish. At one time, this pose was called the cure for all disease. And then release the legs back down, and then release your posture. Take the blankets away, take your hands out from underneath you, bend your knees, and just relax. That was a nice, good opening of the front of the body, and we're going to encourage this action and do a bridge, a Setu Bandha. So if you had something underneath your head, please take it out. When we do a bridge, we have to keep the head flat to the floor. Because now, instead of lifting and opening at this part of the body, we're going to squeeze through this part of the body. But you're not going to do it with your neck. You're going to do it with the curve of your thoracic spine. So from here, look down one side of your body and see one heel. Look down the right side. Look down the left side of your body and see your other heel. It might feel like your toes are turned in, but that's just proprioception. Your body will learn as it goes along. Pressing into those well-placed feet, lift your hips. Now your chin aims at the ceiling. Your chin aims at the ceiling. You're trying to bring your sternum to your throat, not the other way around. So you Lift the hips up and let your belly soften, and then you try to lift at your mid-back, trying to bring the sternum into the throat area, so get even more lift. You can tuck one shoulder underneath you, you can tuck the other shoulder underneath you, getting even more lift, freeing up that thoracic spine to come even closer to the throat. Remember that your chin is aimed at the ceiling. Don't squinch your face like this. Don't squinch your head down, because you're trying to keep this open at the jawbone, at the mandible, and bring the sternum into that throat area. And breathe. Letting the back of the body lift up and letting the front of the body get soft. You want to try to feel your belly get kind of long and concave. So allow that belly to release as you squeeze up through the buttocks. Your chin is aiming at the ceiling as you lift the sternum into that throat area, pressing with the back of your hands. There's a few other things we can do with bridge as well, and we'll do those in a future episode. But for now, inhale here, and then exhale and either bring your hips straight down to the mat or slowly roll your back down to the mat, whatever's more comfortable for you. Now let's take just a gentle twist to release this. So bring your knees into your belly and bring your arms out in T, palms down. With your arms in a T, palms down, drop your knees to the right and look to your left. And if you can, take them all the way over, looking to the left. If you need to use the hands as support, you may pick the knees back up. Take another inhale here. And as you exhale, drop your knees to the left, looking to the right, softening into the shape as best you can. And then pick those knees back up. Use the support of the hands if you need to. And then put your feet back on the mat. So just rest for a moment. And now we're going to do our squeezes and set up for Savasana. So if you need a blanket for the back of your knees, or if you need a blanket for your head, please get to them. And we're going to let Jessie just go flat in this Savasana. So bringing your knees into your belly, wrap your arms around your legs. Feet are side by side. Inhale here. And exhale, squeeze yourself down into a tiny little ball. Loosen the squeeze, inhale. Exhale, squeeze, pull your belly, tuck your chin down into your chest, loosen, inhale. And once more, exhale, squeeze, make yourself teeny tiny. It's a final internal massage, and then release. And let your legs go long down the mat, over the blanket if you choose to use one. Let your hips rock until your low back gets comfortable. If your low back's not getting comfortable, put another blanket under your knees. Let your toes splay open. And as your toes splay open, you're releasing those muscles that attach into those IT bands. Then let your belly soften. Turn your palms up. Little external rotation for your arms. And if you can, you bring your arms about 1.5 feet away from your hips. But find what's comfortable. That's the most important part of Savasana. Tuck your chin, getting long in the neck, and melt. Soften your feet. Let the arches of your feet release. Let your knees get soft and spacious. Allow your thighs to feel heavy. Let your belly soften, allowing your navel to drop towards your spine as you exhale. Release your chest. Imagine that your heart's lifting as your shoulders are lowering. Melting your shoulders down your arms, pretending that your palms feel like petals. Swallow, releasing through your throat, letting the skin on your cheeks go slack. Allow your tongue to rest gently in the back of your mouth, releasing any unspoken conversation, and instead tuning into observation as you allow your tongue to spread side to side. Soften your face. Bring your gaze inward. Be brave and release the grip of your brain, letting it rest gently in the back of your skull. Let your skull widen and spread on the mat. Find your front body, and in its entirety, let it melt into your back body. letting your back body then melt into the mat, into the floor, into the ground. Take a final moment or so and just observe yourself in this posture. And then deepen your breathing, wiggling fingers and wiggling toes, making circles with wrists or ankles if you need to, and then reach your arms up long and stretch your fingers away from your feet, make space, and release. Draw your knees into your belly, roll to your right side, make a pillow for your head with your right arm, and then inhale, and on the exhale, gently press yourself up, hands back at your heart, and namaste.